Hello, Spiritual Collective. So I wanted to talk about something that I've experienced lately. I've experienced it a few times, and it's gotten stronger over time. And that is reading in dreams. Okay, so a lot of times, a lot of people out there will say that you can't read in dreams, which can be true, right? Sometimes you'll be reading something, like you'll see something in the dream and you'll read it and it'll change. I have had that happen. Yes, that does happen. Especially also if it's a different language or a symbolic. I've had that where there's symbols being conveyed in like some kind of different language and then it moves and animates. That happens. Pictures will change and stuff like that if you're looking at a book with pictures. Anyways, that does happen. And that's very common in dreams. However, you can read in dreams. Usually you have to be someone who probably reads a lot in your everyday life or writes. There's a concentration on words in your everyday life which will translate over in your dreams. And I've had this happen where messages are conveyed in a written way, okay? And depending on what the message is conveyed, it'll stay there long enough to know that you'll get the importance from what it is, okay? So you'll know. I've had this happen before. One with a book cover that was symbolic to my practice, just the title of the book, right? It had a message for me, right? In the cover itself. A shirt someone was wearing in a dream had a message on it that was significant, and I read it. And then my most current one, or then there was one where it was like a quiz, like, and you had like the question and then like the three answers, and it had to do with it usually for me usually has to do with spirituality. My spirituality, I've usually had it that way. That's how it comes out to me. I guess it could be something else different for everyone, right? But often for me it is a spiritual messaging or something I need to know, usually of the spiritual nature, or for my path, right? Most current one was very interesting. Very interesting. It was a kind of like a word cross, like when you cross out words, you had like, you find the words, you circle them, and you cross them. But this one was different. It had like the words, and the word was there, but words within words. Okay? Like let's take the word known. K-N-O-W, right? Okay, so you have now, N-O-W, and you have K-N-O-W. So you have no and you have now. You also have no in there. So every word that's in that one word is part of this message. So I was like, wow. and then yeah, it was just like, okay. So, and I was like, okay. And it was interesting because like when I looked away and I looked back in the dream, it was still there. Those words were still there. Like, you better know these are the words. And then I got like a lot of the words in the dream, but then I took them out on a paper after the dream, and then I found even more, like, oh, okay. And then messages started coming out from those words that were, and again, maybe you might have to fill in a word or two. There's definitely a message there, at least for me in this dream. So what I'm saying is reading and problem solving is actually available in, like, puzzles. Is actually available to you in your dreams. It's very interesting. And the fact that I was able to go look away in the dream and then come back and it was there. Because, like, technically it should have shifted, right? It should have been something totally else or gibberish, but it wasn't. Again, there were letters for the crossword, or not crossword, but the word find. but those words, and they were next to each other too. Those were my focus, and they were in the middle of the word. So it might be easier for you, like an easy one to solve, and then you're gonna be drawn to what you need to be drawn to. Like technically, I didn't have to solve the whole thing, right? It was like there, and then this is what I'm dealing with. It was very interesting though. So you may find yourself, like you may have a dream where you do have words that you pop up. But this usually happens, again, if you are someone who reads a lot, focuses on words, maybe you're an editor, you're a writer, right? You're someone who's focused, like highly focused. I remember the day before the day of, I had that dream. I was really intensely reading this. It was a spiritual book, right? But it's just so well written. And it was it's a very dense book. And it really pulled me in. And I was really focused on what it was saying and the words. And finally people were quiet. Like I didn't even have to like drown anyone out. And I was just so focused. And I could feel myself being so focused on the page. And I think that translated into into dreams. A lot of the states that you have when you're waking and you engage in will transfer to your dreams, which is why dream yoga and stuff like that, a dream spiritual practice like is important. And you do spiritual practice in your daily life, it'll show up in your dreams, right? So, and then the whole idea of like asking yourself if you're awake, so you can induce a waking experience, so you can do a lucid dream. That's all another video. Again, I'll get more into dreams because that's the whole topic, right? But I found that fascinating. That's really cool that I could, I was, those words weren't going anywhere till I got the message. Like, remember those words because you're going to need them. Wow. So I don't know. I just thought that was really cool. But yes, you can read in your dreams. It's not always common. And it's not something you'll be doing like all the time. But if it's a way that spirit or yourself or your subconscious can get a message across to you and it works, then it will happen for you. So try that out if you're a reader. See if that works for you. Anyways, just thought I'd share that. And have you had that experience?